Watch this.
Wake up to reality.
Welcome to another episode of Reality Tonic, where we interview people from all walks of life with interesting stories, jobs, hobbies, lifestyles, and talents. Rob, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very good because we are thriving. We are going global. We're all over the place. And we want you, the audience, to check us out on Instagram, check us out on Spotify, check us out on our YouTube channel. If you're on Instagram, our link's in our bio. When you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe and smash that like button. So our next guest, this is a very, very, very exciting time. Not only is it exciting, Robert, it's magical. Okay.
Wow.
Our next guest refers to himself as a celebrity magician. Folks, please welcome Josh Pele Magic. All right, Josh, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much for coming on. So, Josh, I gave you a very, very, very brief introduction to the audience. Why don't you tell us exactly what it is that you do?
Sure. I want to say first, thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is ours.
I'm Josh Pele Magic. I am a celebrity magician. That means that I myself have built up quite a following, and I also deal with a lot of very famous people. I perform for tons of celebrities, from athletes to actors to rappers.
Will French Montana be impressed by a magic trick? Let's find out. I'm going to have you sign this card. There's his signature. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to fold it one more time, and I'm going to ask that you hold on to it. Perfect. Now, my name is Josh. I'm going to take another card, and I'm going to write my name, Josh, right there. As you can see, I wrote my name. I'm going to take the card the same way you did. I'm going to fold it in half, fold it another time, and I want you to hold it out. Now give it a shake. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. That's all it takes. If I open it up, now I'll have your signature. And if you open up the card, you should now have my signature.
Just about all walks of life. I do all types of shows. You can see me doing clubs, bars, speakeasies. You can see me doing restaurants, brunches, birthdays, weddings, holidays, cruises. The list just goes on. I could probably have like 30 different types of shows that you might find me, or you might just find me recording content, doing magic in the streets or in malls or in different areas, business shops. I do everything.
So if somebody goes to you, hey, Josh, what do you do for work? What's your answer?
I don't say I do it. I just get right into it. So my first thing is I just say, let's try something. And then I go into a trick. And then by the time the trick's over, they usually will figure it out.
So you always have a trick like in your possession?
Always. Yeah. Well, I always carry a deck of cards with me. It's like it's what we call an EDC in Magic, everyday carry.
Yes.
I don't leave home without a deck. I don't always have all my show supplies, like even my small stuff, but I always am going to have at least a deck on me.
Do you have a specific deck of cards? It's like, this is the one, or is it does it change all the time?
No, I keep my deck simple. You know, I do a lot of things where I might be folding cards, burning cards, bending cards, giving them away. So my decks can break down quickly. So I usually just use your typical bicycle red or blue deck. They're $3 a pop.
Nice.
Get them in like bulk. So just keep it consistent, cheap, simple, because I'm definitely going to be losing them very fast.
Yeah, burning them. Yeah, that's awesome.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing magic and same time being a professional magician for 3 years now.
3 years. Okay. How old are you? Would you mind sharing to the audience?
I'm 24.
24 years old. So if my math is correct, Robert, it's 24, 23. So since you were 21?
Yeah, about it.
All right. Is that right, Rob?
Good math, man.
Yeah.
You're really...
So, Josh, let's continue. So what made you decide you wanted to start getting into magic?
It's honestly a very random story. I was on a trip to Italy by myself to visit a friend. And this was a few years ago. So, you know, technology wasn't as advanced. As we know, technology goes quickly. So planes weren't really as TV centric, Wi-Fi centric, this and that. So I kind of really had two options, right? What do people do on planes? They sleep and they read. I wasn't a reader, and I like sleeping, but what if I can't fall asleep on the plane? I have a problem. I have 6.5 hours to kill. So I wanted to find something for myself to kind of fidget with. I don't really play video games, so I'm not going to have a handheld console or any of that. So I don't read, don't play handheld. Just need something to fidget with, really. So I just took a deck of cards with me. While on the plane, I'm fidgeting with them, just messing around. I don't know any magic tricks. I don't do magic. I don't have anything related to that field. But I came up with like an idea for what I thought would be a good magic trick. But there's only one way to really test an idea. So once I arrived in Italy, I started just doing it over and over. I was going around the streets to random people in front of the church, which is Duomo, a really popular cathedral there, doing it on the subways, doing it on the trolleys. And I didn't speak Italian. And surprisingly, a lot of them did not speak English, but I had a friend translate. So it was like three-way combos with strangers continuously doing one trick over and over, but with really good response. So I came back to the US, started doing more tricks, and it kind of grew to here.
Tell me when to stop. Right there. All right, have a look at this card for me. Have a look at it. Show the camera. Awesome. Can the camera see the card? Beautiful. Put the card back anywhere in the deck, anywhere you like. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to use your imagination. Open your hand. Imagine taking the card out. So make that motion for me, just like this. Beautiful. Show the camera and throw it. Boom. Just like that. Did you feel that? Take a look. Yeah, take a look. Rip it. What? Huh? Wait, what? There's a card. Open that card. Is that your card? There we go.
Wow.
In what, 3 short years, you've grown to be a celebrity magician.
Yeah.
So you start off doing your thing on the streets. Do we start making any money at like right at the beginning? Walk us through that.
Yeah. So I come back and I do another trick, and I'm like, okay, like I'm a magician now. I don't know what a magician does. I don't know how to be a magician. I don't know anything. I'm a magician. That's it. Like I'm convinced to myself that I'm like this. And I just said, why not post about it? So I found my community Facebook group. My like town has like one for people putting recommendations for tutors and local shops and businesses and services. So I said I was a magician and see if anyone would hire me. And someone hired me to do their kids show. I was like, nice. And for the time, they're like $150, which once you become a magician, that's actually very, very low for magic. But at the time, I was like, 150 to do this, cool. But same time, I had to do an hour show for kids. I've never done magic for kids. I've never done an hour, and I only know one trick. But I'm the type of person to just take any opportunity. So I was like, let's do it. And I figured it out. I had a good show. It was great. And then I was like, kept going with it. And I started to do too much too fast. I tried to do a 365-day challenge where I would post a different trick every single day for a year. Mind you, I still only know like 5 at this point, so it's going to be really hard because I still have to learn the tricks. Like now, if I had to do that challenge, that'd be so easy. I know easily over 365 tricks, and by the time I get to that, I'll have tons more. But then it was really tough learning and recording and just getting that out there. So I burnt out really really quick. I lasted a while. I got to like day 128 or so, close to like halfway of a year. I don't think it was a full 6 months, but it was pretty good. But I just was over. It was too much. Did too much too fast. Quit completely. And then so about 2 of those 3 years was just no magic really. I did know it. And then about a year ago, a little over a year ago now, I got this opportunity to do a show at a restaurant. It was like a mix between a brunch and a restaurant. So it was loud music, smoke machines, DJ, but it's a restaurant. People are sitting down eating. And it kind of dove me into this nightlife realm where I kind of started doing more shows, more restaurants, more clubs.
I put an X on her hand without even touching her. I'm going to draw an X on my hand right there, nice and neat. Now, the problem with Sharp is it's very difficult to rub off. But as a magician, I can go 1, I can go 2, I can go 3. I'm going to take the X, I'm going to throw it in your hand. 1, 2, 3. Now, open your hand.
Started meeting famous people, doing a lot of celebrities, and then the brand just grew from there. I knew what kind of targets I wanted, learned a lot about how to maintain these relationships, build more residencies, get more shows, and now it's just been thankfully very successful, and hopefully a lot more success coming soon.
Wow.
So you could earn a full-time salary doing magic, strictly magic?
If my shows are consistent, yes.
Wow.
But that's the problem with magic. It's like with your 9 to 5, you know you're getting paid 9 to 5. So on a given day, you know how much you make. On a magic, you could have no shows and then suddenly they all pop up. It's very sporadic. So I would say consistency is very easy to get a great salary with magic, but that consistency is not always the easiest thing to have, and you're never guaranteed it. One good year doesn't mean the next one will repeat.
You know, you said you're doing it just recent years. So to learn all the tricks and stuff like that. Now, is there like where do you go to learn all that? Is it books? Is it YouTube? Like, I assume most magicians aren't like willing to just tell you how they did it.
Right.
You know, so just curious about that.
Magic is like one of those things where everything you do really is based on fundamentals, right? You can't be good at anything if you don't master the basics. And if you go further without mastering the basics, it's going to come to haunt you. And it's one of those things where once you know a few basic principles, you kind of mix and match which ones you're going to use. And most effects are, if not this principle, it's that, or a mix of them. And obviously there's still so many different variations that you still won't know everything, but a good amount of stuff you kind of put together as a magician. You'll know it's this, if not this, it's partially this or this moment. So for me, once I get to like that fundamental base, I kind of make my own style, right? There's so many tricks, and then each magician decides like he sees a new trick. Does he want to do it? Like, is that his style? Does it make sense for him? You know, people do tricks with handkerchiefs, right? I'm in a club. I don't know why I would have a handkerchief in a club. I don't do that. But for other scenarios, there's great moments for that, or just in general in the street. So you kind of build up your repertoire from what you know, and then from there you kind of decide. You can go and buy tricks. Like there are magicians whose lifetime and life earnings, their salary is based on they create tricks, they do the whole marketing material, they do a video of what the trick is, go out and perform it. So you have like a little footage of this is the trick, this is me using it in the real world, and then they sell it to magicians to buy, and magicians look at it and say, I like this, let me order it. And the trick will come with the props and the instructions and even like a tutorial on how to make your own if yours breaks or you need another one. But that can be very expensive. It's not like a mass produced thing. So these things can cost like, $30 each. But again, if you want like 5, you're spending $150 on tricks. You can get a lot. There's also like downloads, which are digital cheaper, where you can get through a lot. So for me, it's more about I choose what I like and I choose my own ideas. So I kind of create what I want for different celebrities. I know what things I think they'd enjoy.
Do you like to smoke? Yep. Well, I have 2 nugs with us. Okay. Now, could you open both your hands, please? I'm going to take one of the nugs, okay, and I'm going to put it in my hand. And I'm going to take the second one, and we'll put it in your hand. Can you close it nice and tight? On the count of 3, give it a shake. 1, 2, 3, shake. Just like this. Mine's going to go. So I'm not the stoner. You are. Now, sometimes people think 2 isn't enough. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take 2. I'll give them both to you. Can you close your hand for me? This. Now, I'm going to take the third one. Now, stoner always has weed on, so I'm just going to take this one out of your pocket. Okay? See this nug? No. Can the camera see the nug? I know you don't think there's a nug, but there is. Watch. If I take the nug and I drop it into your hand, now you will have 3.
Yeah, because
Just like
I have enough foundation to where I just create my own routines, create my own show, create my own tricks. But I actively look at, if something's on the market and I find it cool, I want to splurge. But it gets to a point where it's like anything else. If you like something as a hobby, you're going to buy a ton of it and never use it. And so like I have that mistake of I bought a ton of magic last January and I haven't even started looking at half of it until like 2 weeks ago. So it's been a whole year sitting in my room.
Wow.
I don't even remember what the tricks are by the names anymore. I have to open the packaging and take a look. But
So you just have a whole thing of magic in your room?
tons of stuff. I have stuff in here.
How much money worth of magic is in your room?
It's a lot. Definitely thousands.
Wow.
Spent a lot. And then I also have like a lot of decks in here. Now, not all of this I paid for. Some of them are gifts and everything, but magic books, I have some. They get sent to me in this, but magic books can't be printed like Amazon books. So a magic book's going to run you like $40 to $60 on the low end. So if you have like 4 books, you'd think, oh, maybe 100. 4 books can be like $200.
So you're not
Wow.
going, there's no like magic university or anything like that? There's no school?
There are, but usually that's more like when you're, most kids get into magic as a kid and you go into like, there's camps, there's teachers, there's this. I kind of, getting into it at 21, you're too old for the camp. I didn't even know about the camp. I mean, in theory, you could hire a teacher, but magic lessons are expensive, and for me, I don't need them. I don't have the desire to that kind of build up on myself what I want to do. And with the lesson, they're kind of going to teach you what they, feel for their curriculum. I like the creativity of doing things on my own. But there's definitely, books out there. I'm very bad at reading magic books. I love reading. Magic books are a little challenging. It's not always easy to tell if you're doing something right based on a drawing in a book. You see a video of someone doing it, you can literally see how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
So for me, if I need a video, I prefer a video. But otherwise, I kind of just build on myself, decide what would be cool, and then figure out how to make it happen.
Take any card. Take it? Yep. Have a look at it. Show Connor, show the camera. Got it? Yeah. Show the camera one more time. And put it back anywhere. Got it? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to show you that all the cards are different, okay? Can you see that? And Evan, I want you to verify all of them are different as well. Can you see that?
Oh,
we can
no.
leave that. We can leave that. It's okay.
Is this your card?
Is this your card? But if this was your card, would that be impressive?
It would be pretty
If that was his card, would it? One card. What was your card?
free space.
Three of spades.
Oh, fuck. Was that his card? That was my card. Yeah. No way. I just made a joke. I thought
So, are you beefing with any magicians or anything like that? Like, have you experienced that street life part of it, being a performer?
I don't beef with any magicians. I think we all like do our own thing, and it's one of those things where you kind of grow together. I did notice that when I first started, I had similar questions to what you're asking, like how do you build it? And for me, I just wanted to do my thing. Like I just wanted to go. I didn't want to waste time learning a lot. I just wanted to go out and perform because for me, I don't care about messing up. If I have a trick, I'm just gonna go and do it because for me, I see that as a win-win. One, I go and do it and it works and it's successful. Or two, I mess up. But messing up is great because when you do magic, you don't know that they don't know you messed up. So for me, if I mess up, I'll pivot. And if I pivot and, finish out the routine and they enjoy it, same thing as if I did it right. But now I have two tricks. I have the pivoted version, which maybe I actually like and, start messing up on purpose because I like the way it played out and the actual trick I wanted to. So now I have more tricks because I wasn't ready to perform it and I ended up creating another one.
Wow.
So I like that. In terms of beefing, I did, reach out to magicians and say, hey, I wanted to talk. And every single time the few magicians I reached out, they're all so willing. They gave me their number. They wanted to chat. We talked. I asked for advice. And I'm thinking, I'm building a relationship here. Like I've met some magicians. They're cool. I look up to them and, whatever. Every single one just after that call ignored every other message I sent them. It was that call and that was it. Just ignored me. And now years later, I see like a majority of them. Now they're all suddenly watching all of my videos and following me and this and that, which I'm like, oh, that's interesting. The only like beef moment I ever had was I was at my local college bar. I went to Rutgers University and I came back just to do it. I would always do magic there. And I guess there's this other kid who did magic and he was doing some tricks. And I was curious like what kind of tricks he did for like this one group. So I went up to that group. It was like two people and I was like, hey, like what tricks did he show you? And then like he gave me an idea based on what they described. I had an idea for a new effect that I like had worked on. So I thought it'd be a perfect way to continue. And I say, all right, well, let me show you. As soon as I take out the cards, I don't even start the trick. This guy runs out. He's like, magic battle, you and me. I do a trick, you trick. And I was just like, this is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. I am not about to magic battle some stranger in front of other strangers. Like we're not measuring dicks here. Like it's just a magic trick. You know what I mean? Like they liked your magic. I'm gonna show them tricks. It's not gonna take away from yours. It's not gonna make any of us better. It's just I want to do it. And then like from there, I just like I didn't even want to do it. As soon as he said that, I just thought that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I just said I don't even want to do a trick anymore. I just like walked away.
Yeah. But listen,
I'm not doing this.
Devil's advocate, though. Let's just say you happen to be the only guy in the room that knows a magic trick, right? You're doing your thing. All of a sudden, randomly out of nowhere, at this one party you're at or whatever event, there's another guy who happens to be a magician.
This beef gets worse because like I understand that portion. If that was all of it, I would have been like, I get that part. And I thought about that a few times. Like if that was it, but then I was like, I'm done. I don't want to. I walked back like to my group, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do tricks. This guy seems defensive. Like I'll let him, do his thing. It's not that big of a deal for me. This isn't a show. This isn't people that are going to hire me. These are college kids. Like I could care less about that. So I go back to my group. We're sitting down, and then this kid approaches me again, and he's like bugging me. He's like, show me a trick. Show me something I don't know. Like this kid, I found out he worked at a magic shop. And the thing about working at a magic shop is you're gonna know every trick because you can't work at a magic shop and not know every trick. The reason for that is because when you get new product, the new product is the new tricks. And when people come into the store, it's your job to literally perform the newest tricks for them because you want them to buy them. So there is no way that this kid knows, like, there's no way that I can do a trick that this kid probably doesn't know, or at least have some idea. Like, he's just clearly trying to get me to do something because he still wants that higher level, like, I'm going to beat you, which I'm like, not doing a trick. I don't even think that I could think of a trick at that time that he doesn't know. There's no way. If you work at a magic shop, you're going to know every single trick. And if you don't, there's no way a magic shop will hire you. Like, your job is day in and day out to do everything from the oldest to the newest moves. And like the fact that he came up to my group, I'm like, this guy just doesn't leave me alone. Wow. Like, it got to a point where I'm being nice and I'm like, just like not saying that rude. And like the girl next to me just like looked him in the face and told him, fuck off. Wow, and he was like, do you know what we're talking about? She's like, yeah, you're annoying us. Fuck off. I just kicked him away. And I was like, yeah. So like that second part really got to me where I like not doing magic, went back to my group, but this kid's still coming out. It was a little much.
Is there politics in magic from your experience?
What kind of politics?
Like, I don't know, because I guess I'm trying to equate this maybe to like being like a stand-up comedian, right? Like,
yeah, like
what's your spot on there and go ahead, Rob.
Well, is it like some guys that'll say, some magicians don't do any cards at all? Are they like cards suck, or is there like divides between like?
Yeah, I mean, like there's some magicians that like usually magicians kind of do their own thing. They don't really care. There are magicians that maybe say like people do coins because that's pussies or something like that.
Okay.
Like, there are a few. Like I don't really hear it a lot. Usually, the only person I've ever heard say it was like, so well recognized and respected in the magic community that honestly he could say whatever he wants. He could say the worst, most terrible thing, and people will applaud him because he's just that well established in the magic community. Well, politics really kind of are, not every trick you do is original. It's not yours, and so if you're going to do someone else's trick, sometimes people have like restrictions. Sometimes say, this is my trick, this is what I'm selling it for, you buy it, you have it. Other times people say, this is my trick, this is what I'm selling it for, you buy it, but I will not allow film, any type of film, whether not just TV, podcast, right? No video footage whatsoever. And then so some people have that, and it's kind of like a respect thing. That's like the politics of someone, it's their trick and they don't want anyone recording, like they let you do it but don't record it. You kind of have that. And then other times it's really just along those lines of like the boundaries that people set with their own respective effects. And you just kind of have to respect it. Other than that, there's not really too much politics with magic.
So back to the magic battle though. So the way you said it kind of makes it sound like it's something that does happen in the community. Like
I don't think there's really much stories of two magicians walking to a
just
bar.
Going at it. Yeah, I didn't know if you ever had to do like really did have to throw down. Have you ever had to, or have you avoided it?
No, I mean I kind of just and I just kind of read the circumstance. Like if it's another magician, it's like, is this guy wanting to share this moment with me? Because then we could, I do a trick and he builds off and we go back and forth, but more in like a fun way. It's like a duo. Or is this like some guy that like wants to, like I mentioned, measure dicks and it's like not fun? Because in that point, you're not, people watching are just like, laughing at you. Like, what is you doing? But if you're working together, it makes it more powerful for them because now you have two people kind of building it. So I kind of gauge like, what is the intent from like those moments? Like I had another moment like that where someone came up to do that. And it was like really cool because he built off of mine and then I built off his and we went like back and forth for a little and it was like fun.
What a great night for the fans to be part of that, huh? Rob,
yeah.
Imagine you and I
two for the price of one or, whatever. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten called out on a trick, like doing it in front of people and someone going, I know how you did that, and pointing it out and actually maybe being correct on how you did it?
Yes and no. Yes, because there's certain tricks where I have multi-phases. So for the first phase, I will intentionally do a different sleight and I will do it with a huge flash with the exact intention of someone catching it. Now, what happens is sometimes the group doesn't catch it at all and I just continue with it. sometimes there is that person that catches it. And that's kind of my intent is I flash for them to catch that sleight because it's not the sleight I need for my trick, but it's what I want them to see because I want them to call me out on it, say, I know how it's done. I know what you did, because that acts as my misdirection. Because now the second time where I'm not doing that sleight and what he thinks I did is not at all what I'm going to do now. Like he's right. I did it the first time, but I did it because I want him to think that's what I'm doing. The second move, I do it to him who calls it out. And it's more magical because he's convinced he knows how it's done. He saw how it was done. I do it again, and now he's like stumped. So I do get called out occasionally when I want to be. Other times people might call something out. The thing about magic and what makes it tough is if someone's convinced they know how something's done, then that's how it's done. And it doesn't have to make sense. If I do a card trick for you, like if I just was like, Robert, name a card, and like I knew you were gonna say that, and then someone else goes, "Oh, he knew his card because his uncle's nephew was in his kindergarten class," or some like random thing that makes no sense. That's an explanation that they believe, and that's it. So when people call me out wrong, but they're convinced that's how it's done, to them, they got it. Like I'm not fooling them on that. So that gets annoying, but I have ways to work around all circumstances.
Wow. Now, have you ever been doing, say, a card trick? I'm gonna guess your card, and you just come up with the wrong card. Like I almost liken it to like a stand-up comedian just bombing a joke. Have you ever been in that situation? And like, how do you?
Oh yeah, there's definitely been moments where I thought it was this card, and maybe I got distracted and switched the card in my own head, and I was like, that's not their card, or I generally just forget what their card was. I've had those moments. But I pivot, there's a lot of different ways in which I pivot. So like if I show a card and it's the wrong one and I don't mean to show them wrong and I really think that was the right one, I could just pivot from there and I could just, act as that was part of it. Like I intended to show them the wrong card.
Yeah.
Maybe ask them what their card or just do something else and then just get the right one and do some kind of flashy change or something and act like the first thing was intentional. That's not always intentional. I get it wrong. I do have some tricks where I show the wrong one on purpose. The times where I show the wrong one not on purpose and I get it wrong, I'll just pivot. I just find it in a different way because they'll never know that I actually messed up. I can do both where I mess up and intentionally mess up and you won't tell the difference.
Are you at the point where you think if you were on like that Penn and Teller show where they have to, like, they guess your trick, they'll automatically know what trick it is? Do you think you'd be successful on that show?
I definitely would be successful because that show is really about, the audience. There's a lot of great magicians that do tricks that they know Penn and Teller would know, but it's more for the audience. I'm around that level where I think I have a good chance of fooling them. I just don't know exactly what trick I would do for them. But
Rob, do you know what this is?
I think I know Penn and Teller. I think I've heard of the show, but I've not watched it.
Penn and Teller are a very, very famous magician duo. They've been around forever. They have their own headline show in Vegas. And this TV show, Penn and Teller Fool Us, is a show where they're two magicians. They call different magicians and the guests, kind of like a podcast, but the magician will come and do a trick in front of them. And they take notes and discuss amongst themselves and see if they figure out how it's done. If they figure out how it's done, you didn't fool them, you go home. But, TV episode, if it gets aired, it's, great exposure. Yeah. If you do, however, fool them, then a trophy comes down from the sky. They drop a trophy from the air and they give you a trophy saying that you fooled them. So it's like a fun challenge for sure because they're very well respected magicians. They know a lot of magic history, a lot of tricks. They've seen a lot. So definitely. So fooling them would be cool. I think I could be able to fool them. At the moment, I have no idea what trick I would do, but that's on my list of things to probably go on the show. I'm not really hoping to fool them. Obviously, it would be nice and get a trophy. I just want to be on the show and have fun with the routine that I come up with. So
they stop at any single point right there. All right, I want you to remember this card, show your friends, and show the camera as well. When you got it, please put it back anywhere in the deck, anywhere you like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the deck and I'm going to try to find your card. Okay, I'm getting a sense. Maybe it's this one. I don't know. Okay, what if we do this? If I take the card, you see it? Just like that, it can levitate. Watch, I can make it levitate again. Like, if I levitate it a third time and give it a rub, it'll disappear. But if I toss it, check your back pocket.
Josh, speaking of, respected magicians, honest question here. You have Chris Angel, Mind Freak,
Mm.
who's hanging off of a cliff.
Mm.
And you have David Blaine, who's hanging off of a cliff.
Mm.
Which one do you
Saving
save?
Chris Angel because I don't like David Blaine. I don't know much about Chris.
Wow.
David Blaine lost me a show because he was, I don't know. I guess you can say insecure. I don't know what the word would be.
Whoa.
I had a very big show.
Folks, we have some celebrity beef. Please continue.
It's not fully beef, but it was. I had this show that I was really excited to do. It was going to be one of a big at the time before I was really building the celebrity brand. It was going to be one of my biggest ones to date, and it was going to be working NFT week in New York City for a lot of high net worth individual, a lot of important people that would have been really great to perform for. And they're looking at booking me. Well, the lady that first referred me was a repeat client of mine. She had me several times before, and they're sorting out the price, they're sorting out the details, and then I get a text from her, and I still have it. I could read it verbatim. It was so apparently David Blaine's people shot down the idea of having another magician at the event. I'm so sorry. My clients didn't see that coming either, but they were definitely impressed with your videos. We sent them to the owners of the company, and hopefully they'll be able to use you in the future. And I'll keep pushing clients your way.
Wow.
So, and this wasn't a show that David was performing. This is just a show that he was just going to be in attendance for. So I didn't get a really big show just because David Blaine was in attendance at the event.
David
That's
Blaine,
bullshit, dude.
For
David
that
Blaine,
reason,
you've been exposed.
Yeah.
well, she said David Blaine's people, so I can't really comment on who. I have no idea who his team is or what that means. But for that reason, I'm pretty disappointed in that happening. So I'm not as big a David Blaine fan as I might have been.
Hold on, Rob. David Blaine, shout out to you. However, shame on you. But if you want to come on the show and defend yourself, because we're fair here at
We're
Reality
fair.
Tonic. We're a family and we will listen. However, in the court of public opinion right now, David
Bad.
Blaine, shame on you for what you did to Josh.
He's got some bad points at Reality Tonic.
Mhm.
So
Minus
were
2.
you a David Blaine fan prior to that happening?
Honestly, I knew who he was. Like everyone kind of knows Chris, but I haven't really watched much David Blaine's stuff before or Chris. I know like I've seen a few cool clips of him, like the frog stuff and the needle through the arm, but I haven't really seen much of his magic because those things are really, the thing about him is he's a freak. He literally trains his body to be able to do those types of effects. So I haven't really seen like the magic ones where it's like aside from training your body, what sleight of hand he does and this and that. But I always thought those were pretty cool. Not stuff I would do. But I liked it. I liked his content.
So you're not at the point where you would freeze yourself in a ball of ice for a week in Times Square.
Yeah, I don't intend to do any of those body stunts. I don't really think those kind of stunts are for me. I could in theory do it, but I think it's the time you put into it is time I could be using much better ways. And then the effect of it is like if I do put the time in and I do have that trick, what's the result? I really want to do more of my time on tricks and effects that if the world sees it, it's something I would be willing to repeat on end because now I can have a show. I can do that again for your clients or your show and kind of repeat it. So for me, it's more about building something that's replicable. I could do it again over and over in different places. I wouldn't want to put a lot of time to be a one trick, pony. If it's not something that I'm going to be doing more than just that stunt. Because now when you do it a second time, it's like you already did it. They know you can. No one's a surprise. Yeah. I think for me and my payoffs, it wouldn't be the same as what he got out of it.
So, Josh, let's talk about your experience going out in the public, and now you're going out to events, you're doing your thing. Even though David Blaine did do you dirty, that did not stop you from somehow interviewing or doing magic for adult film stars. Were you at like an adult film convention or something?
This is Angela White, and she's the number 5 porn star in the entire world. Can I do a trick to impress her? I'm going to riffle through the cards and I need you to say stop at any point. Stop. Right there? Okay. Have a look at this card, memorize it, and show the camera as well. Got it? Awesome. Now please put it back anywhere in the deck. Anywhere you like. Right there? Beautiful. Now, me saying, oh, I'll take a card and show it to you and that's your card. Is it the 2 of clubs? No? Well, that wouldn't be amazing. I'm a magician. You expect me to find a card. What would be really magical is if you were to take that 2, grab it like this, give it a shake, and then you'd be able to find your card. Have a look. One card will change into you with your Queen of Diamonds.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so apparently one of the biggest ones is in New Jersey, and I live right by it. So I
Nice.
decided to check it out, and this is still in my phase of building up to having like a brand that everyone recognizes. So my first attempt is this convention. Now it's a sexual education convention, so there's a lot going on. So they have two stages. One stage is just, performers, just, people doing like pole dances on there and entertainment, really, all kinds of general entertainment you expect. There's another stage which is more like educational seminars. They talk about various sex related topics with partners and trying new things and all kinds of different things. They have sexperts, host these things. And then the convention itself is like split with like a lot of booths, kind of like meet and greets. And each adult film star has her own, or she's under a company who has like a big one and has several stars doing signings, signing photos, taking photos, all kinds of things. And for me, I'm new to this and I'm just wanting to get my name out there and do magic. So I'm going around, I'm doing magic to everyone and anyone. I'm networking. If I see someone with a microphone, I'm definitely going to do a trick on their episode. I don't care if it's a podcast. If I see a mic in your hand, you're going to get a conversation with me and I'm going to do a trick. I'll tell you it's 30 seconds. We'll make it quick. I know you're busy, but I'm getting on any and every show I could find there, networking. And I made enough noise that it's like, hey, why doesn't this convention want a magician? That'd be cool. So I emailed them. And I made so much noise in their Jersey show that the next one they had coming up was DC. They asked me if I wanted to do a stage performance, and then I agreed.
Wow.
So I made the most of it, had a stage performance. It was earlier in the day. It was like 3 or 4 p.m. People usually start filling in like as the night goes on. But I think there was at least like 150 people there by the time I was on. So I got to do a great stage show, networked with this company, and now they're one of my clients. And also because of the stars that come there, I know all of them pretty well and personally. So yeah.
Would you mind sharing? I know this is a little personal, but we're all about reality here. Okay.
And Tonic.
And Tonic. What kind of money would an adult film convention performer magician be making?
The money really comes from like you're a performer, you kind of have your rate. So for me, it was the first time I did it, it was just volunteer. So they, in exchange for my performance, they offered me a booth, which is valued at around $2,000.
Yes,
it's
it
a
is.
trade-in.
That's not bad.
So it's a trade-in. But again, for me, like a booth, the value of a booth doesn't necessarily equate to the value I get out of it. Me being a very social, interactive walk around magician, I spent the majority of the time just walking around. I had someone man my booth. I had a film star who really wanted to go, and I just told her, hey, like you could split the table with me. You put your merch here, you do your photo cell, as long as you have my backdrop in the background and everything. And I'm gonna just walk around the convention like I always do and network more and do that. So the first time I did it was just a trade off for a booth. And then I explained to them, hey, like, my style, I do more walk around. I do better walking around the convention than sitting at a booth. I don't think that there's value for me in a booth. Can we talk about trading in the booth for money? Because for them, that's a lot of money. One, like it's going to be less for them to probably buy me a flight and hotel if it's not the Jersey show. If it is, just don't even have to give me a flight or hotel. The money they save from that is exponential because you could also sell the booth, right? You're getting $2,000 back that I would have used for that booth, and you can give the booth to someone else. So now it's $4,000 of value to them if they switch to paying me a rate and expenses. So it worked, and this convention's growing year to year, so they started having more budget, and by the time the budget starts coming, now I've already established a relationship with them. They know me very well. They know what I could do. They know that I have a lot of value to add. So now they're talking about my typical rates, which, the adult convention, doesn't matter what kind of convention it is, it's a client, it's a show that I want to put on for people. Now they're talking about my normal range for that. But it was a sacrifice where first I had to go nothing, but it built into something where, now I'm getting paid.
So I won't
awesome.
talk to you about the rate you would give me because obviously we're very, very close.
Right.
You're a New Jersey guy. You come over here. It's an easy drive. We'll get you some pizza. You'll do a thing. You can hang out with us. If someone from the general public wanted to hire you, let's say we want to do a kid's party or a bachelor party, whatever, what would you rate?
Yeah. So Conventions are obviously different. Those are stage shows, so that pricing I'm not going to get into. There's a lot of factors with that because that's
Sure.
really a lot on like
That's the big deal.
numbers that in terms of a private event, like you mentioned, bachelor party, birthday party, I do all of those. That's usually going to come down to how far it is. So usually around in Jersey, I'm around the $400 to $500 for the hour range. But I'm a flexible magician. I really like to give the guest experience. So for me, if it takes me a little longer to do all your guests and contingent that I don't have another show or something to get to after, I'll stay a little longer and do more magic for the same flat fee. So you might get, you're paying for an hour, you might get an hour and a half of magic. And then it will go up based on other different factors. Is it really far? Am I gonna have to get like a hotel? Am I gonna have to, do something specific, create new tricks? There's like sometimes people request certain tricks with certain props. Maybe they saw something on TV and they're like, "Can you do this?" I'm like, if you want me to do a close-up version of that, I might need, an extra $50 for the props if you want me to build it, because it's usually one-offs where I might have to prepare it, or sometimes I just can't do it. But usually my Jersey rate's around the 400 to 500 an hour, and again, that hour could go a little more if you like, and definitely a lot of stuff packed in that time. So
Do you because you do street performing, then you'll also do stage performance. Do you have like a preference? I'm sure you make more money being on the stage, and we don't have to get into that, but just in terms of like how you feel doing it, like do you have a
definitely
preference?
I don't market my stage show as much. It's just not the network I've built has been people that do a lot of very close up related things where they don't need a stage magician. So I don't really have quite a network for doing stage stuff. So I really haven't done as many compared to like my close up. I have stuff all the time. I'm always out like 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Like in some weeks, I'm just doing something, whether it's street to content to events to parties to that. So I do a lot. I would say like 99% is like the stuff, and then that 1% is stage. That's because
Okay.
that's just how often the events turn out. So I'm definitely more comfortable with that, but I'm very comfortable with stage. I'm working on some new stage shows that I plan to kind of pitch and try to get up and running weekly. I want to try to do, or even like a close up show where it's not necessarily a stage, it's more like what we call parlor, which would be like a table, like it's an intimate setting. So maybe a table with like 20, 30 guests in the room, and they can see the table. Maybe some sit at the table with me. And I want to try to put together maybe a weekly show and talk to my network and see if it's feasible. We could do like a weekly show with like 20, 30 guests. We charge tickets, something like that. But stage is definitely something fun. I like doing it, but close up is my bread and butter.
Yo, bro, drop.
What?
Hey, do that again. Do that again. That was fire. Do that again.
Let's get personal just for a second. All right. Your social life must be phenomenal, right? You always have an icebreaker. You always have a conversation starter. I'm sure you must have a lot of fans. How you doing out there in society?
It's good. I mean, the people I meet and stuff, it's all very related to the niche I see. I mean, if I meet people through restaurant work, I'm only going to see them with restaurant related events or at that restaurant. I don't really see them much outside of that. Same thing with like the nightlife. They all work nightlife, right? They're promoters, they're VIP hosts, they're owners, they're working the door, they're working the club, and they're doing the dinners before. So I'm going to see them regularly because that's really where a lot of the celebrities are, and that's what I'm going for. But I'm going to see them at night. So it's good to see them, but it's always the same types of places. Sometimes there's people where I definitely want to get in touch with them more and build that relationship a bit more on a more personal basis than just seeing them at night. But it's hard with their schedules, and proving that like I'm more than a magician to some people is not always easy until like that relationship develops.
Right.
But yeah, social life is it's pretty good, but it's like this at the same time, it's like the people you see from the times you go. If I were to go somewhere else, I'm going to see a whole different group of people. It's not really like a set crowd that like anything I do, I'm like thinking of them to bring.
But do you find yourself getting annoyed though if someone's like I feel like comedians sometimes go through this like, oh, you're a comedian, make me laugh. Like every second it's like you're just a
show me
comedian.
a trick, show me, do a magic trick.
No, I don't think I really get annoyed. The only time I ever don't feel like doing a trick is when I'm at my burnout hour, which is if like I went out to the club and then after, so now it might be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 a.m. I've been out till then, and I'm on my way home. Then I'm really not inclined to really want to do one, unless I see a value to it. Like if you didn't see one at all, then I would love to. But if you're someone that like saw it all night and I'm leaving and you want to know, I'm just gonna tell you like I just don't want to do that.
I'm good.
Yeah, like for me, it's like if you haven't seen it, there's a moment to be shared.
Mhm.
Like you didn't get to experience, so I don't care how tired I am. Like I want you to feel that. If you already felt it and you're just like, maybe you're drunk or maybe something, you're just really pushing it, and it's like I'm gonna be respectful, but like I don't want to. But typically, I don't have that moment of no, I don't ever want to do it. I always have it on me for the reason that I know I might be asked. So I definitely enjoy it.
When you're doing magic, are you just stone sober? Is it like a go against, or
Yeah,
can you have a couple drinks and still pull it off,
Yeah, I think I might be better when I'm drunk. I'm not.
Nice.
I don't really like to drink, but I take shots with the bosses and the clients if like that's what they ask me to do. I feel like it's a group thing. I kind of
When
have
you
to
perform
be
at my show, whatever event I am having, yes, I will encourage you to hang out with me in that type of setting. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I definitely don't do that. I don't think it hinders me though. I've performed. I've smoked before, so I've performed high in the past. I've performed drunk. The only thing that really changed it, I think, is like my tone, or maybe my energy a little bit. But the tricks are always gonna work out. It's like a muscle memory thing for me.
Yeah,
And even like if I'm under the weather, I still will. I'm always focused. I'm not focused on getting the trick, I'm focused on getting the attention of the audience to get the reaction I want. So I'm always knowing intuitively what how to get people to feel a certain way. So that's always gonna work. Even if the trick's gone, I'm still gonna have them be like, wow.
Take any card out of the deck, have a look at it, memorize it, and please show the camera. Got it? Good. Put it back in the deck. Now you remember your card, right? Watch. All the cards are different, as you can see. But if I take your card and the deck and I go 1, 2, 3, your card will disappear. But nothing really disappears. It appears in my pocket.
How did I get that there?
When did you decide, you know what, I'm going to label myself as a celebrity magician?
I chose that title once New York Weekly did a feature on me, and the headline was Celebrity Magician Josh Pele Magic. And from there, I was like, that's it. I like that a lot. I like that
Wow.
name. I
Look
love
at
that
you.
name.
Now,
So,
let's talk about the celebrities. Like, I know I watched a little clip there in 22. How many celebrities? What was your top 5?
top 5, like by fame.
I think, yeah, by fame, the
Okay,
top 5
so
celebrities. That I've seen.
I'm not going to include the adult stars because they're all just so big on their own realms that they just have millions of followers. But I've done a lot of adult stars, long list of them. Outside of them, I've done, Jaden Smith is really big. Everyone knows who he is because Will Smith's son, icon. I've done Jaden Smith. French Montana is really big. Rich the Kid is really big. 2 pretty popular rappers.
Rob knows nothing about Rich the Kid. I do.
I've done a lot of famous DJs. Not a lot of people know DJs, but like some famous ones are like Martin Garrix is huge. He's been around for a long time. The like arguably most famous dubstep DJ, Excision, I did him as well. If we go down DJs, that list is like in 2022, I did like 45 or 46 famous DJs. Like I went really crazy with that.
How do you find these guys? You got to like go on the hunt?
Sometimes it's a hunt thing. Sometimes I get invited to events like, oh, J Balvin's huge. I didn't even mention him. He was massive. I wasn't on the hunt for him. He walked into my friend's hotel room that night, so I looked like we had mutual connections. But sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's the clubs I work at. You build a good network, and nightlife is very small. They know you from this club. They let you into your place. You let them into yours. So you build that community. So a lot of times the celebrities go to these clubs. So I go there. And as I do more celebrities, I not only network with the celebrities and the people hosting the events, but like the circle around them. And so like if you're like a rapper and like I become friends with you and you're friends with this rapper, it's very likely you're friends with a lot of other famous rappers. And so if you're friends with this famous DJ, it's likely you know other famous DJs. And so the network I build outside of like the people running the events and like the celebrities at the events becomes a group of people that's connected to other ones. So if I do one NFL player, this person that I meet also is like, hey, I have other NFL players if you'd like. I have other UFC fighters if you'd like. And I'm just like, I'd love, well, I want to do it for everyone. Why not?
So let me ask you, let's go back to the adult industry for a second, the adult convention stuff. What type of guys are going in there, like going to a convention? Obviously, you go in there for business, but what are we not seeing?
Sometimes people just, people watch their adult
Sure.
content on their own time. And sometimes people just really love a specific girl, like someone's preference might be really nice breasts. And for some reason, right, like there's a million people you could probably find online that have really nice breasts. But sometimes people just get really grown to like this specific person's breast. They don't want anyone other else's, and they want this person. So to have that opportunity to meet them, that excites a lot of people. And these guys, they go crazy. They're like paying like some of these girls are charging $20 just for a photo. Like a selfie on your phone will be like $20.
Wow.
And these guys are paying it like crazy. They're buying all like the girls bring their stock, like they take cute Polaroid pictures of themselves that they're selling for like $15. They have maybe their own merch that they love doing. Merch is pretty popular. They have shirts, they have mugs, they have different
People buy
things.
that stuff though. Like people will buy like a porn.
Yeah,
star
like
t-shirt.
these guys are like so obsessed with these girls. Some of these guys like simp like crazy. Like I see some of these girls meet a simp, and that day is like that simp is their sugar daddy. Like the girl will walk around because there's the booths are the girls that you meet. There's maybe a booth like Reality Tonic, like podcast might be just having their own station,
which will happen in the future.
You can, yeah. So
Yes.
like there'll be like podcasts with their own booth doing episodes potentially. There'll be streaming stations, so some girls are just live streaming, and there'll be even like just some people with stores, like sex stores, love that stuff because they're going to sell a lot of products. So they have like a station opened up where they're selling toys and like outfits. And some of the girls will walk around with a simp, go store to store, like, oh, I love this. Oh, and the simp
No
would
way.
buy everything. Like the girl will show the 10 outfits and toys that she really likes that she sees on sale at the convention, and those guys will buy them for her right then and there. And it's like sometimes I see like a guy spend like $1,000 on like all these things for that girl. And it's like it's on top of like the photos that he got with her for like who knows $20 each plus the DVDs. And some of them offer like the easiest offers. They have chairs. They just offer lap dances. Like, oh, give me 20, 30, 40, $50 and I'll give you a lap dance really quick for like.
Wow.
They make a lot on that. And I've seen
Is there like a lot of girls like walking around topless and stuff? I feel like, or is it kind of more professional?
It's definitely like with that convention, the rules are different. So they're not allowed to be topless, but they could just put pasties on and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Practically topless. Usually like I just know like the outfits because I see pictures later. I don't look around because I'm busy. I'm doing my stuff. Like I wouldn't even notice if someone.
You're just sitting there eating lunch at a porn convention.
So busy, like because like for me, every time I go there, it's like always new networks or building on past networks, and I'm just again like I just want the business aspect of it for me, or like they have big followings. Maybe I do a trick with them because those videos do well. So I don't know, but like these guys that go, man, like they'll wait in lines just to get a picture. Like some of the bigger girls will have like a line that's waiting like 2 hours just to get a photo with them. Wow. And mind you, like they're paying like money for this. So like some of these girls probably make like $5K in a day in photos, like the really top ones.
So can you give us a list for our male viewers out there? Who you've met in person? What top celebrities in the adult industry?
I mean, I like saying Stormy Daniels because that's someone I've become close with over the years.
Oh, by the way, can we talk about this after? We need to get her on the show. I messaged her and she doesn't respond, but I don't want to seem like that guy.
She doesn't always respond to me either. She doesn't always answer my texts, but I see her.
Stormy. Shout out to Stormy.
Yeah, I see her a few times a year. So yeah, me and her have gotten like pretty close. I know her husband. I met him the last time I saw her. So me and her are pretty close. I say that because everyone knows her story with the lawsuit. And then really like the Brazzers girls are the biggest ones typically, like Angela White, like that video did really well for me. Luna Star.
Yes, Rob, you know Luna.
They do well. Violet Myers always has like a crazy line. She's a pretty frequent person. She's a regular at these kinds. Her line's insane. Like her and Angela White probably had the biggest one the last time I saw.
It's just a line full of dudes all waiting to meet.
It's just an insane line.
Now, do they ever ask you to be in their films? And just like maybe not even have sex, but just like do a trick like in the background.
You're like, what are you doing here? And then
oh yeah, you're like the pizza guy, but you're like, did someone order a magician?
Yeah, they've said like it'd be a fun idea, like if I were to work in that industry, because like there's no one that does that, right? So it would be funny. I don't intend to pursue that route at the moment.
Celebrity magician
/ adult films.
Yeah, so I don't plan to join that adult, but like they're all like at the end of the day, like all these girls, people know them for those kinds of videos, but like when it comes down, they're all really cool people. Like they're just like you and I, like they're very friendly, very fun. So they joke around and they're really cool people to be around. They're cool friends. I don't I don't want to do these
So
videos
wait,
about
we can get a booth over there.
it's gonna
If
cost
you
me
want to
money.
buy it, yeah.
If I paid the money, like a couple
Oh my
G's, you think?
god.
Of course, yeah.
All right, Rob, pack your bags.
We can
And then
split it.
honestly, for you guys, the beauty of it is the guests are right in front of you. You
That's
know,
what I'm
just
saying.
you just because like for you, it's like if you're just a podcast that's like say you just came as a guest, like to walk around and meet people but you tell them about your podcast, you have to schedule this or that. Here you just say, hey, we have a podcast, we're at that booth, come over to our booth, come over. And like
Yeah.
you're just driving. And the fact that they're, at your booth doing it will draw a lot of other people there. And you'll probably like honestly, I would bet money that if you had like your reality tonic shirts or merch just for sale, because the girls interviewing with you at the convention, I'm sure random guys will just go and buy it.
Hey, what's
Wow.
up?
You will probably sell your merch for that exact reason.
What's up,
That
dude?
would
You
be
want to buy a mug? It's only $40. You know.
Yeah, I don't think
a mug, baby.
I'll have Stormy Daniels say, "I love reality tonic mugs."
Yeah.
Stormy might be tougher one.
Yeah.
Stormy's always like her own. She's very like I don't know what the word would be, but she's like she keeps to herself mainly.
Good for her.
Not
Good for
very
her a lot.
going crazy. She's just there. She does her thing.
Mhm.
And she just hangs out. She's not the easiest person to like impress or that. But a lot of other people, like there's a mix of people. There's industry people that are very friendly, and there's new girls and different people that are like up and coming, and they're all like jumpy and excited, good energy. So you'd say you have a podcast. They're like, I'd love to. It'd be
Mhm.
cool. Some of them are just trying to get their names out there.
Mhm.
Podcasts are a great platform for that.
Sure
You
are.
gotta do it.
Rob, if you want to
Let's
go
do
to
it.
a whole other dimension,
Next stop, yeah.
the doors right
That'd
there.
be
We're
a
just gonna
fun
open.
one though.
That
Just
would be
like
funny.
talking to some actual stars and then the fans. That's
Yeah.
who
And the
I
other
really.
thing is like if you do that avenue, you guys will like. So I know another podcast that I did. They had me on their Christmas show at the end of the year. It was kind of just like their normal episode, and I was just there and I did a few tricks. They're called the Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Show. They're part of Gas Digital Network, but they're mainly rock and roll, not sex. They do a lot of bands and guitarists, drummers coming on. But they had like a few adult stars on their show, and I don't know to what quantity. I haven't watched many of their episodes. I honestly, there's probably the only podcast I didn't watch the episodes before I came onto the show.
Mhm.
But yeah, they even got nominated for an award because like the award show for the adult film stars, one of them is called AVN Awards.
Mm.
Now they have like obviously best scene, best this, everything related to adult film. But there's also some podcast awards, like best podcast,
Oh
best
my
this and
god.
that. And like so like you got I think there's maybe it's like best adult podcast is an award. I think that's the name. So
Rob,
if it's hard to interview people in the industry, I think that would make you eligible for the award. I know that podcast I mentioned, they were nominated.
Wow.
They didn't win the award, unfortunately, but they did get nominated. So it's
Still pretty cool.
and not everybody can say that.
Spencer
So, yeah.
would love to win an award. I just
Let's
want to
say.
get that out there. Anything he
I'll
could
present
win.
it. I'll present it over Zoom. Hey guys, sorry I can't be there right now, but I just want to say thank you for this.
Just this long list of everybody he wants to thank. You know?
But yeah, that's definitely like that's one thing I discovered recently is like there's so many award shows for different things. And like I never really look at
Anything.
I never
Yeah.
really look at them because I'm like, am I eligible? Like, what is and then I look at some of these are like straightforward. Like, I had this article coming out on me for one magazine writer that I met at the convention. She writes for a lifestyle magazine, but they write about all things. So she wants to do a feature of me about my magic, and I was like, sure. She tells me about the awards, and apparently there's a Best Entertainer award. And like, even though I don't have much affiliation with that magazine, I'm eligible. If people nominate me, I'll be eligible. So now I'm kind of chasing that award because even though it's a random, in a sense, random, because not a lot of people know about it, like it'd be cool to win Entertainer of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? So definitely looking at different awards this year. That's one of my goals to win as many awards as I can.
Well,
Oh,
you have
yeah.
you have our nomination.
Thank you.
Now, Rob,
Mm.
before we get into probably the most sought after moment in the history of audio and visual, do you
Oh
have
my
any
God.
other questions?
I don't think so.
So
We're
before I ask this special request, I just want to give a thank you and a shout out to our friends over at Gate City Graphics who make us these fine stickers here. Check these out. Speaking of
Those
adult
are
fun,
awesome. I want
that's all I'm
one.
gonna say.
Those
If
sweet.
you want one, you can get one. Folks at home, if you want one, you can get one. Just give us a DM. We get these ones too. They're adorable. Gate City Graphics hooks it all up with everything. They're out of North Carolina. However, they will ship everywhere, folks. You pick it, they stick it. GateCityGraphics.com. Check them out over on Instagram as well. And yeah, shout out to them. So, Josh,
Yes.
very special request for you. We're about to wrap up. I don't know if you're okay with that, but before we go, do you have, I don't know, any type of tricks up your sleeve?
I have 3 tricks that I've prepared for the podcast. And the beauty of them is they don't take long. So the first one is a card trick. So we're gonna have someone. So I'll run them down. So the first trick is a card trick. We choose a card, we do something with it. You'll see in a moment. The second one is a celebrity trick. We're going to have a celebrity selection. I won't go into details on it. And then the third one is a set of choices. And we talked about the word free will at the beginning of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So this trick will refer to as free will. So that's going to be the third. So for the first one, either of you can be the one to choose a card.
That'd be
Don't choose
Rob.
it yet, but decide who's going to be choosing the card.
Go ahead, Rob.
Just number and suit.
So, okay, Rob. So I have a deck here, and I want it in frame when we do this, so that you don't think I'm doing anything. You could, yes, any card, number, and suit. But there's also Jack, Queen, and Heart. So you might even choose a face.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, Ace isn't a number, so you could choose Ace through King, any suit.
Okay. I don't tell you. I keep it in my mind.
You could say it out loud. Yes, this is because it's virtual. It'd be very difficult to read your mind.
Totally.
Yes, for folks at home, this is virtual, but please check us out on our YouTube channel where you can watch this trick.
Okay.
That's it. Go ahead.
Good plug. 6 of spades.
6 of spades. Are you sure?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to take the cards out of the box. And I'm going to show you all the cards are facing you, which means you should see no red backs.
Hold on, you're all zoomed.
Oh wait,
There we go.
you're blurred. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So you said that there should be no red backs, right?
So you see deck of cards. There's no red backs facing anywhere.
There's one red back on your that
Well,
one.
the
right
only red back facing would have to be the.
there. Whoa,
Wow.
dude!
Wow.
Now,
That was pretty cool.
thank you. Yeah, that is a little unfortunate with the blur. So if anyone's watching, we can redeem ourselves now. I got the blur sorted.
But that
so
was
this-
legit, though.
Rob, are you impressed?
That was cool. I was honestly like, oh no, like you've messed up. Like
Yes.
there's, and then that's my card. So bravo.
I'm gonna use. I don't have any paper with me, but I have a 4 of spades. There's space in the middle for me to write something.
Sure.
This is where I'm going to write a prediction. Now, for context, I mentioned that we have a celebrity trick now. So let me explain what that means. I have in my phone, and if we were in person, you would be holding it, but I'll show it to the camera. I have a list of celebrities. Now, before we begin, I need to write this prediction, and I have to keep the prediction in plain sight because you might think I'm switching. And there's a lot of nuances of virtual magic because of the fact that stuff could be hidden. So I'm going to show that the 4 of spades has nothing written on it. I'm going to keep it in frame the whole time. So let's see, who am I feeling? Okay. Let's go with this. Now, I have to keep this in frame the whole time so you don't think I'm switching it, but I will also have to grab my phone in a minute. Spence, in my phone, I have a list of celebrities numbered 1 to 100, and I'm going to turn the phone screen, and when I turn the phone screen, I'll put this in my mouth so I can scroll through. Give me any number 1 to 100.
Just say it. 9.
Are you sure you want 9 or do you want a different number?
I'm sure I want 9.
9. Okay, I'm going to go to my phone. Okay, I'm going to keep this here. Let me turn both me and my phone so you guys see. Now, here I have notes. Okay, and we blurry, but okay, I have a list of celebrities. I don't know how to do this.
Oh, nice.
Unblur. Do you see this list?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see number
Okay.
9.
Can you read it?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, who's at number 9?
We tell you?
Yes,
It is Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Now, I have a prediction. It's been here the whole time. On the 4 of spades, I wrote,
Dude!
Right.
That is the weirdest thing.
How, dude? That's
How-
crazy.
How did that happen?
That's fucking cool.
1, Now, we talked about, and what leads us to the third thing, and I'm going to utilize this space right here,
Yeah.
is free will. You had the choice of any number, and you had the choice of any card. That was your own free will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this. Can you see these chips right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So
Keep
I'm
your
going
eyes
to-
on them, Rob.
I'm going to leave this piece of paper over here. You can see the bag as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who's going to make a choice? Any of you guys.
Go ahead, Rob.
I'll make a choice.
Okay, pick one of these.
Let me go. For me, I think it's to your right.
My right would be
That
here.
one right there.
Okay. Okay, we're going to take this and put it in the bag. Okay. Now, choose another one.
Let's go with the opposite side one.
This
Yeah,
one.
that one.
You want this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to push it towards you. That's going to be yours.
Okay.
And that leaves mine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were here, you would read the note. I'm going to take the note out. Okay. And you can read it through the screen. But this is yours. Do you see what's on yours?
Mm-hmm.
A star. And I'll face that. And that means I have a square.
Nice.
Okay? And in the bag, we will have the third one, which is a triangle. So you have the star. We got the square. Triangle's the bag. This paper right here is called free will. Can you read that for us?
Free will has been taken. I am holding the star. You are holding the square, and the bag is the triangle. Wow.
A perfect match for the
Wow.
decisions that you made on your own.
What the fuck?
Look at that, folks.
That's crazy, dude.
What
That's
an amazing
awesome.
experience. That's amazing.
Fun.
Josh, thank you very much for sharing those tricks. Where can we find more?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Josh Pele Magic. That's Josh, Josh, Pele Magic, as well as my website, joshpelemagic.com.
All right, folks. You
Hell
heard it
yeah,
here.
that was awesome, man.
Josh
I'm
Pele.
jazzed up, baby.
Josh Pele Magic, thank you very much, sir, for your time. And folks, we are signing out.
Wake up to reality, to reality.